Welcome to The Explainer. Have you ever been scrolling through social media and wondering how everyone else seems to be living their absolute best life, taking trips and driving brand new cars while you're sitting at home stressing over monthly bills? Well, today we are going to look way past that social media highlight reel and dive into the real numbers behind the average American's financial life. Get ready, because some of these statistics might make you feel a massive wave of relief, while others are going to be a very serious reality check.
Okay, let's dive into this. Are you financially average? Honestly, it's kind of hard to know what's actually normal when it comes to personal finance. Most of us are just guessing. But today, we're stripping away the guesswork. By the end of this explainer, you are going to know exactly where you stand compared to the national averages. And more importantly, you'll know exactly how to break out of the pack.
Section 1. The Income and Spending Gap.
So to figure out where we stand, we have to ask the big question. How much is the average person actually making? According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the median income for a full-time worker is about $54,000 a year. That breaks down to roughly $27 an hour for a standard schedule. If you're earning somewhere in this range, you are literally the definition of average. Not terrible, not amazing, just right in the middle of the pack. But remember, that $54,000 is gross income. That's before the government takes its share.
And this right here brilliantly illustrates the fundamental problem. Once federal taxes, state taxes, Social Security, and Medicare take their cut, the average American only brings home about $38,000 to $43,000 a year. But here's the terrifying part. The average household is burning through a staggering $73,000 a year just to maintain their current lifestyle. There's a massive gaping hole between what an individual brings home and what a household actually costs to run.
Now, what's really interesting is exactly where that money goes. It's not all going to luxury vacations. As you can see, housing costs, so your rent, mortgage, utilities, eat up 37% of that spending. We're talking easily over $24,000 to $27,000 a year on average. Transportation takes nearly $12,000 annually just to get you from point A to point B. And food? That drains another $9,000. These basic living expenses create a massive gap that leaves people living paycheck to paycheck, barely staying afloat.
Section 2. The terrifying retirement reality.
When you're spending everything you make just to survive today, tomorrow kind of gets completely forgotten. It's a slow-motion crisis. Take a look at this table and find your age bracket. The median retirement account balance across all Americans is only about $87,000. And if you look at the folks nearing the finish line, age 65 and older, they only have about $200,000 sitting in their accounts. Now, if you're sitting there thinking $200,000 sounds pretty good, prepare for a harsh reality check.
The crucial point here is understanding the math of withdrawal. Financial experts generally recommend the standard 4% withdrawal rule, so your money actually lasts. Using that rule, a $200,000 nest egg gives you $8,000 a year. That is a measly $667 a month to live on. Could you survive on $667 a month? Even with a paid-off house, that barely covers basic groceries and utilities.
But it actually gets scarier. Over a quarter of the country, 28% of Americans, have absolutely nothing saved for retirement. Zero. They plan to rely entirely on an average Social Security benefit of just $1,920 a month. When you factor in the uncertainty about the future funding of Social Security, you can absolutely see why millions of people are forced to work way longer than they ever planned.
Section 3. The American Debt Trap. This brings us to the part of personal finance that truly keeps people up at night, the crushing weight of modern consumer debt. Now, while a mortgage helps you build equity, these other types of debt are just toxic. The average household carries $7,200 in credit card debt. At 20 to 24% interest, that's over $1,400 a year, literally dissipating into thin air just to service the interest. Then we have auto loans averaging $28,000 at 6 to 8% interest. You're losing money twice here, financing a depreciating asset and paying a bank to do it. And let's not forget the $38,000 in average student loans that so many people are still paying off well into their 40s and 50s.
Let this sink in. Paying off high-interest debt should be your #1 priority even before investing for retirement. Why? Because there's absolutely no investment on earth that reliably beats a 20 to 24% credit card interest rate year after year. Eliminating this toxic debt is the absolute smartest move you can make today.
Section 4. Your Real Financial Scorecard.
Let's shift gears for a second and look at the ultimate scorecard for your financial health. Forget about your salary. The truest measure of wealth is your net worth. It's a really simple calculation. Everything you own minus everything you owe. But, it's shocking how many people go through life completely blind, never actually tracking this vital number.
Take a look at the median net worth in America by age. If you are under 35, the median is $39,000. Listen, if you're 34 years old and only have $39,000 to your name after working for over a decade, you are unfortunately way behind where you need to be. And while the numbers do climb for older brackets, a huge chunk of that is just tied up in home equity, not liquid cash they can actually spend.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly why people are falling behind. 3.8%. The average American is saving a microscopic 3.8% of their income every year. Meanwhile, financial experts recommend saving 15% to 20% just for retirement alone.
When you look at the math, it's terrifying. If you earn $54,000 and save 3.8%, that's roughly $170 a month. At that tiny savings rate, it would take you 3 years just to build a basic $5,000 emergency fund. You are literally decades away from major life purchases, like 10 years for a car down payment or 30 years for a house. This keeps people constantly one unexpected flat tire away from total disaster.
There's another hidden number controlling your life, and that's your credit score. The average FICO score is 717, which means many are managing credit okay, but millions of Americans are walking around trapped with scores in the 500s and 600s, and that bad score affects everything. Just 1% higher interest rate on a mortgage can cost you tens of thousands in extra interest over your lifetime.
Section 5. How to beat the average.
Okay, I know those numbers were heavy and they are genuinely concerning, but here is the good news. The blueprint to take control and escape the average trap. Beating the average doesn't require a secret formula or genius-level intelligence. It just requires stepping up and consistently following these 7 actions. Save 15 to 20% of your income. Eliminate that high-interest debt immediately. Invest consistently in low-cost index funds instead of losing to inflation. Live below your means. Increase your income with new skills or side hustles. Automate your savings so you pay yourself first. And track your net worth quarterly. It's just about making smarter daily choices than the people around you. The gap between average and exceptional really isn't as wide as you think. It is just a matter of discipline. You control your financial destiny. So use these statistics as motivation. What is it going to be for you starting today? Will you stay financially average, hoping things just magically work out? Or will you start building real wealth? The power is in your hands. Take action, and I'll see you in the next explainer.